I'm very glad to introduce Eternal Dragons, and we have Alex and Francisco in the call. Thanks again for being here today, for taking the time. Thanks for Shoko for setting all of this up. And this is a blockchain game, I think, on the Solana blockchain. And recently, they raised $8.2 million in order to build this great game, and I'm really excited to learn more about it. Shoko, do you want to say some words and maybe introduce Alex and Francisco and how you got to meet them?
Okay. Hi. Yeah, I think I will do a big introduction here from my side. I'm the German mod in the Discord, so I was joining the project pretty fast when I think the Discord had less than, I don't know, 500 or even 300 people in it. And I joined it just out of curiosity. So because I did my quick research, checking out the website, checking out the Discord, checking out the team, and especially the team make a very solid impression on me. So that's why I joined the Discord and I was active there. And then pretty fast I was asked if I would like to be the mod in the German channel. And yeah, I follow as much as I can the Discord and try to talk to the German-speaking people, and it's a crazy growth. I learned a little bit later after I saw the project that it is on Solana, and for me it's a crazy growth. It's also my first Solana project. I think in the last 3-4 weeks, they went from like 0 to 10,000 people in the Discord, and it's very organic. So it's not like forced, it's just very organic. So I would like to give the word to the team, and super excited to hear what they have to say about about the whole project. So
okay, perfect, excellent. Well, first of all, I really want to thank you for the opportunity to present the project, to introduce ourselves, share a bit of our journey and our vision with you, and of course answer all the questions that you may have about us. So thank you, Theo, for the invite. Thank you, Francisco, for driving this. So I'll walk you quickly through a bit of the background of the team. I'll start with the journey. My name is Alex. I'm the CEO and co-founder. I've been in gaming for around 50 years soon. I started my first company in 2006. I'm from Chile originally, so I speak Spanish natively. But by then the opportunity was distribute games and ringtones on feature phones. So I think we got a contract with a Shakira album distributed on a Nokia phone. Anyway, we coded that and built all the technology for DRM and so on that was needed. And thanks to that, we connected to all the operators of South America. So we started distributing content. And one of the key providers was called Digital Chocolate, which was by then a really fun startup, successful actually, founded by the Trip Hawkins, the founder of EA also. And so I was in California, and I was pitching the platform, and they say, Alex, we love this. We would like to, to buy your company and join us. And I was like, yay! But I said, but wait a minute, you're Chilean. It's gonna take ages to get you a visa. So why didn't you join us in our subsidiary in Helsinki? And I was Googling, where is Helsinki? And then I found out where it was. I wasn't completely sure about it, but it was somewhere in the north and was very close to the pole, actually, for my standards. So moved there. And yeah, it was such a fun beginning of the journey. Many of the core people on the industry that I met actually were friends from those times. Henrik Surronen, who was in the product team, is one of our investors as part of Play Ventures. Ilkka Pananen, who was running the studio there, is the CEO of Supercell, and a number of other entrepreneurs and thought leaders really and in the gaming industry. And I made the comparison with those days and today because we were figuring out the transition from featured games to free-to-play social games and premium games. And it's similar to what we've been seeing now, the transition from free-to-play to Web3 games. And there was so much to figure out. Everything was new. So we had really fun, really great time in Helsinki. Then I spent a couple of years in Barcelona at the height of the social games. And then I moved to San Francisco eventually, and I was at EA running product for the global platform for analytics, CRM, A/B testing. So creating that single view of the player to use that information for personalization, cross promotion, CRM, and live ops. And then I decided to create my own company around that. So we raised venture capital, about $10 million. And we have a headquarters in San Francisco, our subsidiary in Helsinki. So we grew that company to host more than 300 million monthly active users. And some of my customers were Supercell and Spotify, EA, King, Rovio. So some of the top gaming companies, and we learned a lot through that journey until eventually my company got acquired by King. So we moved to Sweden. My wife is Swedish. I met her in San Francisco. So essentially, sold the company and said, we're moving to Sweden. So it kind of became our new home. And we have a fantastic time in introducing the technology to the broader King and Activision as a key platform for creating, again, that single view of the player and use that data for personalization. Later, I've been at Xbox, where I was running growth for a recently acquired platform called PlayFab for live ops. And we grew that from 50 million monthly active users to 1.5 billion monthly active users when we integrated games like Roblox and Minecraft and other big ones that, again, all around user acquisition and how to deliver the most optimized experience to those players. And then during COVID, we decided to take a break, moved back to Sweden, and we've been living a peaceful life and enjoying our small kids until we saw maturing the opportunity of Web3. We have been following what's been happening on crypto and DeFi, and it really made click for us. It was in the sense that this is the type of fundamental paradigm change that we've been waiting for many years to happen in gaming, with all the opportunity that comes with it. So decided to reach out to some of the best people I know in the industry. Andreas Risberg, who was running Candy Crush Saga at the time, he was the head there, and with whom we also have been in contact for many years. They were some of my customers on my previous platform. We were colleagues at King and worked pretty close there together. And then Bertrand, our CTO, he has had a blockchain startup, but also he comes from gaming. He's been building the full stack for, he was the head of engineering for SimCity at Playfish. He was in China, in Shanghai. He was in London running a team there, and now he's back in France. So essentially, the stars aligned, we got connected again, and yeah, decided to raise funding. And we recently closed those 8.2 million, so we're close to $9 million on fundraising. And since we announced the project now at GDC in March in San Francisco, we've seen this really incredible, support from the community, which has been growing really fast. We last week reached 10K Discord users. We're at over 11 now. We also topped the ranks on social score, which essentially is a measure of engagement of the community through social channels. As Francisco and Alex, I think we're mentioning, it's all really, organic, and we're really proud of that. It's a really high quality community that's been really engaged and provided incredible also feedback and support for the vision. So it's been a fantastic journey. And now we are working really hard for our first NFT sale, which brings us to this conversation today. Excited again to present this project to you all and walk you through that. So I'll take a moment to breathe while I move to the next slide. Okay, so the team. So I told you a story about the three of us there, top left. But we've been lucky to bring also some of the core talent with whom we have worked also for many years, including Silver as our art director, 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜𝐤 and Crytek, Snowprint, Irakli and Francisco, who's been running our growth and community, Milutin on engineering, brought him, through King and Omnia at the time. Belinda is an amazing Unity developer. Peter just joined. Today is the first day. That's right. Yes, from King and 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜, and 3 new stars coming yet to be announced. They're in the transition process. In a couple of weeks, you probably get to know them more in detail. But absolute top game designer, artist, engineer, and director, and more we have in the pipeline. So we continue to grow at a really great pace, and again, we're bringing the best possible talent we can tap on. It's really fundamental for the success of this. Forgot to mention, on the investor side, we have Makers, which is a renowned and really successful gaming, specialized in gaming, and Fabric, who has incredible success in crypto and in DeFi. So check out their projects. They're absolutely the best, and they've been incredible support for us. It's been awesome working with them. So our philosophy, and part of the the pitch and the vision, how we're thinking about this, is about fun first, and really build something community centric. So we're building essentially value add for the community that we have built, and we present our vision of what we want to build, and essentially it's attracting all the investors and players and people that believe in this vision just like we do and want to contribute to it. And we strengthen the roadmap to make sure that it's aligned to what our community needs. And one of the opportunities we saw when we first saw the Web3 happening, and with Axie and so on, which is the games on Web3, they were not fun. It was not something I want to spend money just to play that game. It was more of this financial incentives. If I play X hours, man, maybe I can get some coins, and then I can sell them. And it's just not super fun to do that. So we say we're gonna do this the other way around. We're gonna make people, really will engage with the game and with the vision, and let's make sure that we leverage everything that blockchain has to offer to take this to the next level. So we're having a really honest, transparent conversation with our community, with everyone around, trying to learn essentially as fast as possible, and we want to build. We see it as our mission to build a community and give that place to belong, and play and prosper, as we call it, is our slogan for growth. So there is a broader vision on how we think about the customer's quote of our platform, of our products that span from players to investors, right? On the player side, fund first, as mentioned, much more accessible than what we have seen on Web3. So we're going to minimize the crypto lingo. We are building this universe of games that will be connected to the NFTs, essentially these Dragon NFTs, which I'll tell you a little bit more about that. They can be played across multiple games, and they will have increased utility. We have all sort of really powerful DeFi tools for earning, buy, and borrow tokens and NFTs. And then the guilds, we were going to build them in a way that are really well connected and integrated with the game. They can be funded in a sense that you could raise money and create your guild. We call them houses. So create your house and bring your friends to play with you. And you can start hiring people with the tokens that you have sold, and then you can distribute the revenue that your guild generates in a way that it's really fun and part of the game. So you don't have to think about it, but in the end, it enables that the support of getting resources for being successful, to enable our vision of play to live, as we call it. And then on the investor side, a whole range from investing in tokens as NFT, wink, wink, and then loaning and incorporate this into our DeFi tools, but also investing directly in the guilds in the future when we support that. And all of this will be powered with our player funding platform, which is this complete financial platform for players that allow the trading, that allow to set up these guilds, to provide the tools for hiring and so on. And that writes in what we call the eternal book, because all the history of the players and of the NFTs is actually written on Solana. There's some very specific and powerful capabilities of Solana that was one of the many reasons why we chose to go with them. And the fact that the NFTs can have appended more information regarding milestones of battles, of where the dragons have been, and the history of the player. Essentially, when you start hiring other players for your guilds, you will know the reputation and how good they are by fact, not just by having to learn about them, but you will read it from the blockchain, so you kind of are hiring more safely. And to tell you what is Eternal Dragon, I've been talking so much in abstract. So it's a fantasy franchise. Okay, it's a pretty awesome epic, and you should at some point spend some time with Andreas, and he'll tell you all the backstory. He has this incredible vision and views about what has happened in centuries ago, when the dragons were roaming, and the grandmother of the main character was defending the eggs because they were dying, and eventually those eggs are going to be available for they start essentially now in the age of Genesis, creating this new era, and we want our players and everyone to be part of this building history together. So I won't tell you more because I'm gonna spoil a little bit the story there, but this reflects that narrative. So we start with the NFT sale of the 10,000 dragons, that all the descendants are the ones that are going to populate this universe of the Eternal Dragons. We goes connected to the breeding game, right? And then the first chapter is an auto chess battler. The second chapter, we call chapter this different game. They have connection, but they're actually independent games as well. It's a city building, and then a 4X, with wars between guilds. So it's about building your empire. So it's a really ambitious vision in terms of product, and there will be more. And the idea is that we essentially will develop this universe with a grand vision in mind, but making progress in a way that we learn really fast, and we provide a very smooth experience of integrating blockchain into the game, so then the game is fun, and not just that, it's even more fun because we are leveraging blockchain for new capabilities that you wouldn't see on a regular Web2 game. So here's some previews. This is some of our concept art on the main character, as you see there, and the dragons on the portal. Some cool stories and backstories about how were the dragons back in the days, and the baby dragons, and what's the role of Eternium there, which is our currency, and how the ceremony of Eternium was very important for the dragons. You will get to learn all of that when we start telling you more about the story. And then the breeding game associated with the eggs, these epic dragons with multiple parts and different power associated with it in the game. And yeah, so when it comes to Eternium, as I mentioned, that is the core resource that powers the whole universe. So the same Eternium coin is going to be used across our game. So it's a unified economy to some extent, and the goal is to use it for breeding dragons, leveling up, healing units, and for in-game rewards. That's kind of what you get. It's kind of like SLP, if you will. And then the NFT mean specifically are these 10,000 Genesis dragons, which will have 12 affinities, and there are 9 classes. So 9 classes are something like, for example, a fighter dragon or a mage, and they have different roles, and they're connected with the game itself, have these unique in-game abilities, have special attributes with genes that will not be passed to their descendants, so only them have them. They are not level capped. They will not, the other dragons will turn into stone after they breathe more than a certain number of times. And they come with perks in terms of early access to the following games, to features, and to tokens, and to all sort of really great opportunities. So we'll tell you more about that, but think about being part of this exclusive club by owning these NFTs as well. And yeah, just to mention, we've been having a fantastic time with the growing the community, and we reached the top spot globally, even ahead of Axie multiple days, and Sandbox and other in terms of social traction. We keep as #1 in Solana in terms of social traction as well. And this is just really small and really quick view of the memes and art, but go to our Discord, and if you have a chance, check it out, because A, they're hilarious, and B, the level of involvement and passion and art and creations is amazing. It gets us all so super inspired. Yeah, and here's some quotes of people really having a great time and excited about it. So I think that that was it. It was a bit of a monologue where I guess that's the way it is, but this is the moment I'll pause, and we'll be available for questions and anything you want to learn about us.
Okay, so now, so first of all, thanks for the great presentation. So everyone can just enter some questions in the chat that Alex is going to address. Maybe let's get me the conversation started. So when you look at the whole space of, say, crypto or blockchain games, so some people think that it's a bit controversial, because some people think, okay, if it weren't for the money involved, very few people would actually play Axie Infinity because the gameplay is not that fun. It also seems that, say, traditional gamers are not in love with, say, the concept of NFTs. What do you think about, say, those, say, criticisms or skepticism around, blockchain games?
No, I agree with that, and I'm one of the most skeptic as well. I think that the type of value, the pitch of value of the regular, and NFTs, I think that is poor. And as you mentioned, I don't think it makes the game fine per se. And we have seen attempts of, game developers that say, well, this whole Web3, maybe I should have some NFTs on my game, and let's do that. Let's see if that works. And I think that the opportunity here is to design a game with the blockchain opportunities as a core value proposition. So how can blockchain make a game more fun, and not just by slapping in NFTs? And the way we think about that is, in the case of how we're thinking about our NFTs, is all this utility. They're at the center of playing the game. So you own them, you breed them. The game stands on itself. It's actually freemium, so you don't have to necessarily buy the NFTs to play. You can play with other characters, but eventually you're going to see the need of these more powerful characters that are these NFTs. And we come from a background of building games, and that's what we're doing. And we think that the opportunity is to think from scratch what game design looks like on Web3, when you have the opportunity of this marketplace of unique assets, where you have a community and you can team up to a different level than what you have been able on traditional games. That's why leveraging DeFi tools in connection with ownership of NFTs and creating this value of creating this universe that you belong to, and something that's fun that you want to play, that is we're providing entertainment. That is the key drive. And the reason why I think this is going to work is because free to play, the whole game, the name of the game is sink money in the economy, and people sink money in the economy because they want to spend, and they want to spend it because that's how they play. That's what gives you fun and allows you to progress, to buy the items you need, to grow your empire, and so on. And that's been happening so far without the needs of NFTs. And I think that we're going to encourage the same behavior, but again, leveraging NFTs and this more liquid and global marketplace that can take really this economy to a whole new level that we haven't seen before.
Okay, and maybe so there's actually maybe another question from my part, and then let's turn to the questions in the chat. So at the start of, obviously now these days everyone's talking about the other side. With their big NFT drop, but now everyone is wondering, okay, now we have bought these pieces of land, but how long will it actually take for the developers to actually build a cool and meaningful experience on it? And
right.
so people are now, they don't know whether now they're holding something that won't be usable for the next, I don't know, 5 years. Can you tell us a little bit more about the timeline of developing a decent game, or even a triple, or even a very good game?
No, absolutely. I think it's a great point. So originally we thought, hey, we're gonna build this kind of 4X games. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna own land. I was like, this is a big project. It's gonna take time and resources and fundraising and recruiting, and we know the timelines. We know what it takes to build this kind of game. We've done it before. So we decided to break down the vision into smaller projects. That's the reason, one of the reasons you see this progression of titles. And the first one is an auto chess battler. And the auto chess battler, it's a really fun and competitive game, but it's a setting and it's a type of game that is faster to develop, that it gives you immediate, utility for your NFTs. When you buy this dragon, you can deploy into the board and you can start having these one-on-one battles, and you have this strategy aspect of where do you place them in the board. You have a luck access on what cards do you get drawn at that moment, and you start, creating your own, your optimized set of cards in order to, specialize in a certain way and have higher chances to win. It's really fun, it's really engaging, and it's very simple. And it doesn't have land, and it doesn't have armies, and it doesn't have VR, and it's not an immersive multiverse that we're all going to live there forever. It's very simple, and we purposely decided to go that way in order to prove the value of our hypothesis of integrating blockchain assets with the game experience. And we've been working really aggressively of having that available. We are targeting the mid-year for the first release to our community of the first game. So we have a tight schedule, and we're working really hard for that milestone. So expect to see, I think that our commitment is somewhere before September this year to have it in the hands of the player, this first game. And then we will start already with the next one with the learnings of the first one, and we'll create parallel teams to continue to develop this and share the learnings. So we don't want to create this massive project that, sure, the vision it might be great, but it's super risky to do that without validation of with the market, and you may lose everything, and it may take 2 years to even see the light. And I've seen those projects; it's not fun when that happens. So, yeah, that's our approach of starting more of an MVP type of development and proving the value and our hypotheses, and learn and integrate that learning real quick.
Okay, great, thank you. So now there's a question in the chat. So people are asking, why have you chosen Solana? Is it because it's cheaper, and what are, the benefits of Solana?
Yeah, no, great question. And I'll be brief on my response. I know that I extended a little bit too long. Solana specifically, so there's the cost of transaction. It's a layer 1, there's some security aspects to it. They are incredibly fast of developing. We are of the school of, moving fast and innovate, and at the speed at which new libraries appear, the new deployment, the innovation that's happening there is just at a speed that is it's breathtaking and neck breaking, and so it is the speed, it is the quality, it is very developer friendly. There's some security aspect of not leveraging a breach, and we know what can happen in those scenarios when you have those type of opportunities. And then, well, there's carbon neutral, and there's a specific aspect around the NFTs, as I mentioned. There is the concept of accounts that can be connected or linked to an NFT that aligns with our vision on how an NFT that is progressing in the game and is participating on key battles, we can start writing history on that NFT, and that's going to be attached as additional, let's call it objects that you buy with the NFT. So then it's more of a dynamic aspect than just an image. In fact, we have this progressive approach to the NFTs where we're gonna start releasing new visualization of 3D with videos and animations of the same NFT with the same DNA. So that capability from Solana was something specific that we valued. And in fact, there's a whole narrative on our game around the eternal book, which technically is the NFT account linking capability from Solana. So yeah, we thought that it aligned really well with our vision, plus the benefits that I mentioned earlier.
So what I think is, I mean, obviously, if you have a game with lots of, say, interaction, you need to have a very, a fast and also not that expensive blockchain
Yes.
in comparison, say, to Ethereum. But what I can, what I find interesting, I mean, you're probably aware of this, but let's say in our Discord, we're about, say, almost 9,000 members. I would say that these are some of the most NFT and Web3 enthusiastic people in Germany who spend all day long with NFTs, with Discord and all of this stuff. I would bet that 95% of them or 98% of them have never transacted with Solana in any way. So I think it's so I think it's going to be quite, it will require a lot of, let's say, market education and also marketing in order to get these people who are still, I mean, who are already quite enthusiastic about it, but even if they don't know nothing, they probably don't even own a single Sol, or they don't even own a Solana wallet. So what's your kind of go-to-market strategy there?
I think it's a great point, and it makes sense. I mean, Ethereum has been around for longer, and the NFT marketplace, you know, it was born there. I think there's a blue ocean opportunity in Solana. And again, the type of services that we need as game developers are better served by the Solana ecosystem than Ethereum, period. So you're going to see better quality and better products there. The bridges and the second layer there, they're not an ideal solution in comparison. And we, as I mentioned, Bertrand, our CTO, make a really exhaustive analysis, and he will be here. He will be the one taking the answer on this, on why we went for Solana, and we were convinced that it really is the future and it's aligned to the type of IP we want to develop. And I will invite all of you to really analyze the opportunity in Solana, because it's growing and people are raving there. And on the NFT market, specifically, Francisco can share a little bit. Yeah. There's really great traction.
Yeah, I want to add on that. It's very true that if you go into this NFT Discord of yours, that probably 90% of them are just on Ethereum, but NFT in Solana is really growing lately. I don't know if you have noticed, for example, the 𝐂𝐥𝐤, which were on top 1 for transactional volume around last week. And it's just like Solana NFTs are kind of like, this is now their time. And then we are coming into the market at a very, very good time. And also the mints are happening at just 2-3 Sol, which is like 200-300 euro. It's a whole different level compared to Ethereum, which opens up a possibility for new entrants, because if we would be on Ethereum, I think a mint for 0.3 ETH would be much more difficult to go mainstream. So I was skeptical at first at the beginning as well, but now I have to say I'm really, really happy that we're on Solana, because it's much more entry friendly. And right now the system is really booming, the economy over there. Yeah, that's my input.
Great. And maybe, and then there's questions around, say, obviously the drop, like how do we get one of the 10,000 dragons, and are there any kind of allow lists? If you can tell us more about the upcoming NFT drop.
Absolutely. So yeah, you have to join our Discord, of course, and we are doing whitelist for a big percentage, because we really want to value our community and give back to them supporting us. There are no grinding games at all, so it's all about really being around, just helping the newcomers, showing interest in the game, and then we are giving back. There's nothing like leveling up or those kind of things. I think Shoko can confirm that, and so far this works really well. And yeah, what benefits will whitelist owners get? So the idea is that a whitelist owner will have the chance to mint for sure and gets 2 mints, and all the other things are not public yet, but will be very soon, as we are planning to mint in June. Yeah.
And what's the timeline for the drop?
Yeah, we will mint in June. In June.
In June, okay. In June, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have any kind of tutorials for us absolute Solana newbies? What we have to do?
Not yet, but we will make tutorials for installing the Phantom wallet, which we recommend. Yeah, okay. We are aware this is essential to do some user education here.
Okay, yeah. And the mint itself will take place on your website?
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
It will. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. And there won't be 2.5 ETH transactional fees.
Yeah, hopefully. And once we buy the dragons, so what can we do with them? So until the actual game drops, will they like give access to some kind of, I don't know, secret Discord, or are there any utilities?
Yes, the utility will come very shortly after. So around 2 weeks after the release of the NFTs, we are introducing the breeding game, and there you can use your dragon to breed more dragons actually, which then generates value again for you. And then 1 or 2 months after that, the first game already starts, for which the breeding is required. So from a game perspective, after a very short period of time, you already can use them in the game. And then of course there will be special Discord servers and those kind of things as well, and special benefits and perks. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you missed it, but do you have any say preview footage of the, like, are they PFP compatible, the dragons?
Yes, they are. We made sure they are PFP compatible too.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, and a question around the mint price. Do you have already a range, or is that something you're going to decide? Yeah,
we won't do anything crazy in the Solana space, so you can expect something between 2 and 4 SOL.
Okay, cool. Quite reasonable now. Great, thank you. Yeah, so I think it would be really great. I mean, if you, obviously, I mean, I think Shoko, he can share all of the links to your Discord and to your product. Yep. But yeah, thanks so much for taking the time, for giving us a great presentation. And I think in general, also maybe to our Discord server, I think it definitely makes sense to just learn more about the other ecosystems as well, because I think it's just some kind of education. It's always good to know about, say, the second biggest ecosystem, and definitely there could be some pretty big opportunities while we're all fighting for, I don't know, pieces of land and paying 2.5 ETH in transaction fees. It could actually be that, I mean, in the end, if we are, I mean, first of all, I think we want to actually play some games and not only just speculate on stuff. And I think this kind of gameplay is just very difficult to experience on Ethereum. And so I think just for that alone, it makes sense to just try out Solana games. But I think also from an investment point of view, it could be quite interesting because there's very few people know about it, and so there definitely could be some upside there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to emphasize on that. On Ethereum, the top projects, they are out of the range for most normally earning people. But on Solana, you are still actually early, and there are many projects that are already considered blue chip, but they are still accessible. And for your community, they are considerably very cheap. So I just invite all of you to check out Solana ecosystem for NFTs. There's some really interesting stuff happening, and I will make sure to be around in your Discord and also share some thoughts on that, because I'm 24/7 now in the NFT Solana ecosystem, basically.
Okay. Great. Okay. Then again, thanks, Alex. Thanks, Francisco, for the great presentation. And hope to connect with you soon on your Discord server, and hope to see you around on ours as well.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for the invitation.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.